back at the top of Sheep Mountain today. This time I'm going down the back side of it, sort of like the north face, I guess. And I'm riding, it's still called Sheep Mountain Trail, like the south one, but now it's the north one. This descent is about split up, right? So the whole descent is a lot more than this, but this part of the descent that's technically called Sheep Mountain, it's 3 miles and 1,600 vertical feet. And then it connects to, I think it's called East Fork of Rattlesnake Creek, which is another black trail. This one's a black, so is that one. Oh, there's some tight switchbacks up in here. Woo! And that one's also a black trail, and that one's, I think, 1,800 feet of descent over 3.5 miles. And then you connect to a green trail that brings you all the way up the Rattlesnake for another 800 or so feet of descent over probably a good 7 miles or so, but that one's all very casual from what I can tell. This is my first time up here on this trail. I did climb up this, at least part of it. Climbed up the half of it. I got dropped off again, so I didn't do the full. Oh man, that is too tight for me. Oh. I didn't do the full climb. I really want to still do the full climb, and there's one more trail up here called 1514 that I want to hit. And maybe when I do that one, I'll try the full climb from town back to, or to the top of this. But for the time being, I'm really trying to make sure I stay within my limits. Don't want to get exhausted up here. Oh, those are some so tight switchbacks. Glad I stayed on there. Oh, this is great. Like, super janky, rocky. Parts of it are loose, parts of it not so much. When we get a little lower into the woods, there's some rooty sections which look like they'll be fun. So, and it gets a little less switchbacky down there too, which is nice. Just up here at the top, very switchback. Oh, it's supposed to be a pretty hot one today, get up into the 90s. So I had to start nice and early. Although I left home, realized, whoa, God. Left home and realized I forgot my bear spray, so I had to turn around. So I got a little late start compared to before, but compared to what I wanted, I should say. But I still made it up here by 10:30 at the top. So now for the descent, at least, the heat won't bother being much. And once I get off this high elevation part here, it's mostly in the trees anyway. I was gonna do this yesterday, but I ended up riding the 2 days before that, and realized I was a little too tired to try this, so I waited an extra day. I'm clearly still a little tired, but it'll be good. It looks like good stuff, and actually I love this high alpine stuff. I'm also excited to get into the lower things. One thing we don't have a lot around here, Montana, ooh, that doesn't sound amazing, is like rooty sections, mostly because we have a lot of trees, but for some reason, the way the dirt is, I guess, the roots don't really come out very well. But in the lower section here, there's definitely some classic rooty sections that remind me a bit of the Pacific Northwest. So I'm excited to get through some of those. Nice. Interesting part about going this way is The other way that I went basically points you towards town. So the further into your ride you get, the closer to town you get. And this one, you get further and further from town until you get to the green trail that brings you back to the Rattlesnake, and then you start heading in. Whew. This is a good spot for me to take a quick arm break. All right, let's keep this going. Loose. Oh, tight. This is definitely a brake cooker. It's hard to even let off the brakes for very long. As soon as you do, you just pick up so much speed. All right, we're starting to get into the woods a little bit, where the soil still is holding on to a bit of the moisture, a little less dry. And now we're in like the rootier sections. Nice. It's crazy how long it took me to climb up this and how I'm already back down into this section. Very short flat section in here, but it's barely anything. Unlike the other side, drop down the south side like I did previously. There's some climbs. This direction has no significant climbs. A couple little bursts here and there, but nothing. I think in total, it's like 150 feet of climbing for this trail and the other one combined. This flat section, as soon as this flat section is over, it goes back to downhill. I think this is the only bit of what would be technically considered climbing on this trail, but it barely counts. All right, looks like we're back to the downhill. Maybe as soon as it actually starts going down, I'll take another quick break so I'm fresh for the good stuff. All right, take a quick break. Back at it. You can really tell the incredible effort and amount of work that all Mountain Bike Missoula, NTBM, and the volunteers did brushing off this trail, moving down trees, and it's really good. It's incredible. I would usually have expected this to be quite overgrown. Oh, this section is fun. Yeah, nice and rooty. Woo! Oh, this is great. And I've been told that 1514, which is the other trail that goes down in the north direction, that one's actually more north, is even better. So I'm excited when I get a chance to try that one next. Good. I know it won't come through on camera because it's going to look pretty smooth, but this is great roots, nice and chunkiness. It really feels good. Your suspension's really doing a lot of work in here. It just doesn't come through on camera. Especially because in order for the stabilization to work well on this camera, I have to have the frame time, basically the exposure time for each frame be really short so that the image is very sharp, which means you don't get any motion blur. Much better for getting good stabilization, but it makes everything from a speed perspective look milder than it is, moves a lot slower. And at 60 frames per second, same thing. Woo! All right, so we're about at the section here where I connect when I'm climbing, when I got dropped off. And then, oh, that's good. Yeah, right here. This is where it connects when I'm climbing off. But I'm gonna keep going. I guess there's a short little climb. This is still Sheep Mountain Trail. There's another fork up ahead where it becomes the next trail. Oh, okay, I guess this is the main part of the climbing that this trail has. And it's, again, like I said, it's very short. Oh, my headset is still creaking. I'm gonna have to take it apart and re-grease. Woo! Man, tired. Doesn't look like the huckleberries are out yet up here, this elevation. The lower elevations though, they are quite bursting right now. If you know what to look for, huckleberries are looking great. I went out the other day, picked about 2.5 pounds in 45 minutes just by stopping every once in a while on a bike ride on the way up. Brought a Ziploc bag, got some huckleberries. And there's so many out there that you couldn't even tell I picked any. It's crazy. Hopefully that means the bears are well fed and not interested in me. That's the goal, right? Oh, man. It's actually kind of nice, this little break in the trail. Mm. See if I can get this branch out of the way. Nope, we're not without a saw. Yeah, seems like this part of the trail is very XC, very cross country. Which is all right. My brakes needed a cool down period. All right. Looks like we're back to descending again. Not as steep as that beginning part, for sure. A little more casual. If this was a separate trail, it wouldn't be black anymore, for sure. This is probably a green trail. But it all kind of comes together into one trail, you know? My only concern with this grown over stuff, and it definitely looks like the brushing team, which I don't blame them, but they didn't make it out to this stuff. It's really interesting to see how that East Fork trail is then. Whew. A little more climbing. It looks like, oh, we're at the intersection. So this is the end of Sheep Mountain, the northeast face here. And up that way is, I think it's called Sheep Mountain to Mineral Peak. And then this way is called East Fork of the Rattlesnake. And that's what I'm doing next.